Ah, the province of Quebec, with its beautiful landscape and mountains, its ungodly amount of snow, and its overly caloric food like poutine and Chinese pie, or pâté chinois in French. But what's more lovely than dying in a car crash because the tire slipped on ice? Metal music, of course, and oh boy do we have some extremely good but way too underrated bands. So let's embark on a journey through the music of my beloved province. Quebec's metal scene started in the 1980s with more thrash and classic heavy metal influenced bands like Sword and Dead Brain Cells. Some artists already started implementing progressive and experimental elements with bands like Voivod and Oblivion. Those bands paved the way for other more technical and extreme bands Quebec is renowned for. In the 1990s, bands like Cryptopsy, Gorguts, Neuraxis, Cataclysm, and my personal favorite, Covadis with the Forever and the Day Into Night albums. It's also at this moment that some festivals started to appear, like Festival de la Bête Noire in Trois-Rivières, which was focused primarily on extreme metal bands. Bands such as Cryptopsy and Cataclysm played there. Another notable one is Metal Blasphemy Fest, which was held in Quebec City. While smaller and more local, it still received some big bands like Gorgot and Cryptopsy. While some festival existed, the 90s seas was mostly DIY underground shows. It's in the 2000s that the scene picked up some wind with the Heavy Montreal Festival. It officially started in 2008, but it was still recognized for hosting metal events before that. Being one of North America's biggest fests, hosting big name bands like Metallica, Iron Maiden, Rammstein, and System of a Down. This yearly event gave more international recognition to Quebec's metal scene. New important albums from this time are None So Vile, Cryptopsy, From Wisdom to Hate, Gorguts, Defiant Imagination, Covadis, and Martyr with Warp Zone, goated album by the way, and Feeding the Abscess. New bands in the 2000s are The Agonist with the now singer of Arch Enemy Alicia Whiteloose, and my favorite, Unexpected with the album In a Flesh Aquarium, which in my opinion deserves way more recognition with its experimental and original sound. All of this brings us to today with amazing bands like Beyond Creation, which reinvented tech death with this nerdy, slightly Jesus-looking guy. Atronam with their Arab-inspired song, and Get the Shot are also big bands that come from Quebec. This last one being a more hardcore-oriented band.
Ah, good! We don't like Spanish!
What do we think when we say Quebec other than snow and poutine? French, yes, of course. Some bands decided to sing in our native language for some reason. Even though I personally don't like it as much, French does have its perk. Its more smoothly flowing language is usually more poetic. Well, poetic is still Québécois French.
Ça va brosser, fait que t'as pas de place. Tu tournes en rond, t'es un show. Wouh! Pis là, ça fond!
But those smooth sounding words contrast quite well with the harsh sound of metal music. If well executed, it can give some soul to the music. Just imagine an epic deathcore orchestra sound like Disembodied Tyrant, but with the poeticness, I don't know if it's a word, of the French language. If anyone want to try it, just be sure to send me a link, I would love it. Barf is a notable French singing band. Some Beyond Creation songs are also sung in French like Sous la lueur de l'empereur and Le Détenteur. My favorites are Anonymous, which played with Mon Oncle Serge. This ungodly abomination created probably one of the greatest French singing albums of all time, L'Académie du Massacre. The first fragment is also a notable French speaking band, which I highly recommend if you like Tech Death. Knowing the folklore of this region is incremental to understanding the metal scene in Quebec, like La Chasse Galerie, which is literally about making a pact with the devil, quite metal. Quebec also has an history with Catholic rebellion, with a lot of anti-clerical themes, which fits well to fuel harsher, more rebellious music. Lots of songs are based on said folklore like Le Métal Noir Québécois from Fortress or Black Gourd with the album Prophagus Mortis. The album cover on that last one is literally a depiction of La Chasse Galerie. The black metal scene started in the 1990s and is influenced by Norwegian black metal, with bands like Frozen Shadows and Sorcier de Glace. In the early 2000s, Quebec's black metal scene coalesced into what we now know as Metal Noir. The cold and harsh winter and the mythology of Quebec are the biggest inspiration for black metal here. The unique folklore also pairs well with the music genre. A lot of those bands sings in French because it goes well with the poetic nature of black metal. Bands like Fortress, Janvier, Dépérir, and Gris are great examples of French-speaking black metal band. Messe des Morts, which was first held in 2011, is a festival in Montreal and is a key event for the black metal community.
Dépanneur! Bobette! Merde! Coup de poing! Fin volant! Camion!
There are many important figures in Quebec's metal scene, but four stands out to me. First, Michael Away Langevin, drummer and founding member from Voivode, Voivode being one of the bigger bands from Quebec. He, with his internationally touring band, is kind of an ambassador for the metal scene here. He is also largely responsible for the sci-fi theme of his band. Dan Mongrain is also a notable figure, being the lead guitarist and vocalist of the amazing band called Martyr. He is also credited for revitalizing Voivode after the death of their former guitarist. Barb's vocalist Marc Valancourt is the voice of the band, considered the most legendary in Quebec's metal scene. Lastly, Serge Robert, with his career starting in Les Colocs, a non-metal yet extremely important band in Quebec's history. After departing from the band, he started a solo career with a lot of politically driven songs. He collaborated with Anonymous, which brought metal to a broader audience since his popularity was already established. Thank you everyone for watching this video. This is my first one that I'm making. On this channel I hope to put like everything I like, music, cooking, maybe some guitar making, thing like that, guitar playing too. As you can see, I do not speak English very well, but I hope that won't deter you from watching more. So if you liked it, well, you can subscribe, and I hope to see you on the next video that I make. On that, I bid thee farewell. I am out.
Sex.